Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be the next in Mherex's favorite five powerhouses. So we're going to go through my favorite five powerhouses. It doesn't necessarily mean the best. It's in no particular order. This is not a tier list. These are currently my favorite five powerhouses on my roster. Honestly, I probably could have picked 10 powerhouses that deep. The powerhouses I'm missing are Promoter Rock, although I'm very close, another month or two probably. Randy Savage, the whatever these are called, I don't remember right up. I can't even remember what these were anymore. Whatever he was, is he He-Man? Not He-Man. I'm stupid. Whatever. I don't remember what he was. I could get him in the club store, but I don't care. Ryback, who I wasn't playing when he came out and then he was gone. So I'll never get him and honestly couldn't care less. And that's it. Those are the powerhouses I'm missing. So I do have every other powerhouse in the game. So let's go to class and look at the powerhouses, and I have 5 for you. I'll talk about a couple that just missed the cut for different reasons, who could end up on it in the future, right? So, yeah, Powerhouse, like I said, is incredibly deep. There's a ton of great ones, and depending what you have, there's a lot of different ways you could go. Also, this is my favorite. Doesn't necessarily mean the best, okay? So for ladies, it really wasn't a contest. It's Nikki who's up on my screen, so not really too much to talk about there. When it comes to dudes, ones that came close to considered making, like, could have made the cut, JD McDonough. He brings a lot to the table with blue gems and then also his Yeet build, right? So he was close to making the cut, but not quite. You could actually kind of say the same about Raquel, I guess. She would probably be number 2. Chelsea just kind of didn't quite keep up as much as I wanted with health and stuff, although she can be very fast. Rowan is actually really close to being on the list, actually, shockingly. If you have specific trainers that are really whaley, he can hit stupid hard. Turtle Ray was really close. Could have easily been on the list. New Gen. Blows up the board, gem damage buff, you know. The one that missed and is the closest to being on there is Zombie Punk. Actually, if I need somebody to hit ridiculously hard, he would do it, for sure. If I get his gear, he would in October, assuming it's available, then he would probably go right to the top of my list because you could easily 2-click him and not have to use the MP up, but just these 2 moves. So if I had gear, I think he would probably be maybe my number 1 powerhouse potentially, but he can hit upwards of like 150 million quite quickly and easily. So he just missed the cut. The other one, if I had his gear, probably would make a difference, is Cody. He was super close, also just missed the cut. His gear would probably have made him hit the cut. So the 5 I've picked, and I'll give you the reasons for them: Abby, Viscera, Austin, Hall of Fame Foley. This may surprise people, but I have my reasons. And then Hogan, right? So we're going to get started with Abby, talk about her. I actually cannot currently run the build I want to for Abby. I am missing the other moment, the American made. If I get that moment, I will not run the build I'm running here with Abby. I will run the row break, all 1 MP, all row break trainers. So it'd be increase your purple MP right here, the Bulldog, and then make 6 random into row breaks, and then the row break damage finisher. That's what I would run if I got the other moment with Abby, but I don't have it. So what we're running is the running crossbody, 5 MP, don't need Santa to get loaded, that's nice. 390k damage, increase your red MP by 10, then 390k damage, choose 1 column to make into row breaks. Whiplash Neckbreaker, 554k damage, 23 random gems into multiply gems of strength 3, and then the Purge, 10 MP finisher, 3 million? Looks like it's 3 million damage, and she's a 4x7 area to destroy and pin the opponent. Now for her strap, she really doesn't need a lot. I have 130% strap on her, and then just for funsies, I have the Pig Boy on her to add 50% more gem damage because we are making 6 row bricks? right here with this move. I'm sorry, I'm spacing. So that gives us 50% extra gem damage. So I do use that. I don't bother with an ultimate. Honestly, she doesn't need it. I just have a bunch of pig boys, so we might as well give her 50%. Entourage for this one, I run a whaley setup, so this is just the way I run her. Obviously, if you don't have Howdy, and you don't have Leo, it's not a big deal. She still can hit really hard, but this way she hits very hard. Woods, Sherry, Leo, Howdy, so super whaley setup. It is what it is. This is why she's in my top. This is how I use her, so I will show you what it does. If I need a lady powerhouse, she's obviously my go-to. Like I said, low charge. You only have to really worry about, with this build, you're worried about any MP up reversals, which right now is mostly just Technician Liv and Mommy. That's basically what you worry about. And then your multiply, which most of us are used to the multiply reversals, so it's pretty easy to remember who they are. You know, your Tiffy times, your what's her butt, Indy, sorry, you know, and that kind of thing. So there's a few of them. It could be worse. There's another one I'm not thinking of right now because, you know, brain not braining. So there's that. So really not too much to worry about, other than the multiply reversal and then, you know, the occasional Tech Liv and Mommy. So I leave Mommy alone with her. But really simple gameplay. You just pop the MP up and put your row down. The row I choose is always the one with the most loot boxes in, and preferably the least reds. So this row, because reds are primary color. So that gives us 50% gem boost from the pig boy, and then we're just making a crap ton of multiply gems, right? And it fills the board. Like the red alone is 5.8 million on one red. Black is 4.4, 2.8, right? So it's just big damage. And then you just can destroy wherever you want on the column right here. It doesn't matter. It blows up the whole board. It's all the same. So just drop it down. And I mean, that's 131 million damage, and that's just Fury 2's on. So she just hits really hard, right? Pretty simple to use. I don't like that I do place the one column because I'm super lazy. So that's my one knock on her. And I don't like that there's two reversals to worry about with the MP up and the multiply. So that's really my major complaints. And what I would look to, why I want to use the row break is then I only have to worry about the MP up reversal, which is small potatoes, right? That's only 2 characters in the game have that. So kind of how I set my roster up for feud is to worry about the least amount of reversals possible and then to be as lazy as possible, right? Those 2 things combined. So yeah, I mean, Nikki is pretty good about that. I don't use a ton of multiply ladies. I try to have a mix. I have at least 1 move damage all the time, and then I have some gem damage and some multiplies, right? And I try not to have a ton of MP up as well with that. So I try and mix it up so that anyone's lineup I come across, I can just rotate through appropriately. So anyway, that's why Abby's my favorite lady powerhouse and makes my top 5, because she's my go-to for all lady powerhouse requirements. Now this next one is for me. Zombie Punk is definitely better. No question. Cody's definitely better. No question, right? But this is my favorite 5. This is the one and only usable Foley in the game. So dang it, I like to use him. I'm using him right now in the showdown as my second person because he's filling the MP, because I felt like using Goldberg in the current showdown going on. So he's my second behind Goldberg, just for the MP boost. I haven't had to tag him in, but if he did, he could get some wins anyway. Let's go against Steiner. So really, it's the mark in me. That's why I'm using Foley, right? This is not, I wouldn't recommend taking him up, like I said, over Zombie Punk or any of that. I also have everything for him except a 150 strap, which I would love to get. By everything, I mean I have both of his gears. So this one makes 3 more jugs, second one 4 more MP, so the jugs are huge. And then for the strap, also huge is the Red Royal Rumble. Kind of need it, to be honest. This is for boss, the red to yellow. I think it's what, General's Orders or whatever. Yeah, General's Orders. That's for boss, because he's usually who I use for my healer and boss. You can see it's maxed out. Again, just another thing for me. He can do some red damage and break shields when it's red shields. It's just kind of a for me thing, right? Also, Powerhouse was my first boss promoter. That was Max, so that's kind of a twofer. I really wish he'd get a moment like a lot of the other Hall of Famers have. That would be nice, but he doesn't have one. So let's get into the moveset. It's really simple. Two-handed Bulldog, 198k damage, make 4 random gems into 2-turn Juggernaut gems. So like the gear is huge for this. That will increase your red gem damage by 10% for 1 turn, and then make 4 random gems into red gems at the end of your countdown. So the gear lets us get a huge, much bigger red gem buff, and then a lot more reds like fill up the board, right? Then we're using the Pulling Pile Driver 6 MP red. 213k damage, increase your red MP by 5. So that lets you get two-handed Bulldogs out. This is going to be one of the few times you're ever going to see me have a four move character that I use on the regular, because it is more clicks than I like. However, it's my usable Foley. It's also a reversal. So if they increase their gem damage, you know, you're going to steal their turn, blah, blah, blah. Hall of Famers all do it. And then the 1 MP Sweet Chin Music reduces the... Doesn't really matter. It just reduces the Juggernaut timers. There's a bleed if it's hardcore, whatever. We don't care. Build set for this: Bulldog for the 2 red MP. That and the gear gets him charged with 1 Despair, 45% red gem damage. Seth gives us another Juggernaut, 40% rainbow gem damage. I just use Rabbit for 40% red, and then Goldberg for another Juggernaut gem. So we're getting 6 plus our gear, which was that 4 or 3? I'll look. So 6 total. And then 3, so that's 9. So we get 18 Juggernaut gems at 10% each. It's 180% gem buff. That's the only way you get him there. And he also, like I said, needs the Red Royal Rumble. He needs it all, and then he just manages to kind of do enough. But the gameplay on the plus side is super simple, right? It's just chuck your jugs, recharge. I don't have to touch the board. It's nice and lazy. I get to see Foley. Also, if I get bored, I can change the gear and see a different version of Foley, which is super cool. I should show that too, because that's one of the other things I really appreciate and like. And then, you know, so it's really simple gameplay loop. I don't have to worry about any reversal except MP up. And there you can see 83 million gem damage, which is enough. And that's not with Fury 3s, that's just Fury 2s. So when I want to use him, I can absolutely use him. If I was going to run him in Guy's Feud, I would switch Red Fury 3s over to him, obviously, to be safe. But most of the time, you know, I'll use him for tours if I feel like it. And sometimes I do use him for Feud just to use, get some Foley love in there. So if you're a Foley mark, this is your best Foley. But yeah, you can, depending what you feel like, if you feel like seeing Dude Love, there you go. And then if you feel like seeing Cactus Jack, you can do that, which is really cool. That's one of the neater. It's one of the neater gear sets. I wish he wasn't Hall of Fame because I hate Hall of Famers, and I don't like the bronzing and stuff. But I do love that it changes his look. So I find that highly entertaining. As a Mick Foley mark, he's my all-time favorite wrestler. So yeah, that's why I use him. That's why he makes my fave 5, and it's also my kind of gameplay, other than it's one move longer than I'd like. It is super simple. You can't possibly mess it up. I don't have to interact with the board, so I can do this, you know, late at night, middle of the night, feuding, doesn't matter, right? Everything's good. And you can see 85 million that time. So still can completely get the job done, right? All right, now we're moving on. And you're going to see Foley and Austin here are the only two that really have any kind of overlap. Austin also does red, like Foley does. The rest of them are there for specific reasons in particular. So the thing with Austin is he really appeals to my laziness. He was my favorite Powerhouse for a long time. Then he fell off. And then he came back with extras, like, you know, so what are some of those extras? That's a great question. Glad you guys asked. So Beer Bath Moment, 150% more red gem damage. Absolutely huge. If you get a hold of the Beer Bath Moment, it really ups your Austin. The other thing, this one, not really a big deal, 25% more. So this was the $20 moment that I paid for. I don't have the more expensive one, the $100 one. I don't have that one yet. So that's 175% extra red gem damage, which is huge for him. Strap, I have 100%er, Titan Plate, and the Red Royal Rumble again. And these are Fury 2s on there. During feud, when I use him, I usually switch it over to Fury 3s. This isn't even a maxed one that's on right now. Let me at least switch that. But I'm just showing you these guys the way I have them just set up. I didn't change anyone over. It was just all running it with what they had on them at the time, right? So really not a big deal. Some of them will have Fury 3s, some won't. So there's that. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind upgrading this to. I should see if I can upgrade to 150% strap actually. Rarity boost percentage. Nope, still can't. So maybe one of these days. Entourage. He's a 2-click. A true two-click. You don't interact with the board. It's just 2 moves and done. I'm using the groin kick. 8 MP, 186k damage, 38 randoms into blast, and then the stunner. 10 MP finisher, 1 mil damage, increase your red gem damage 148%, then 300k, make 38 blast into red. No counter. There's no reversal that I have to worry about unless somebody has a blast reversal, but there's no one that I've seen ever in Feud that has it, so I'm sure there's one character that has a blast reversal somewhere that I can't think of, and I've never seen. Also, you're going to notice I don't have to change any of the trainers for everybody I'm showing you. So the trainer overlap is completely different. None of them really even share trainers, although some I do have affiliation, so there may be somebody that's got 2 on, right? So that's the other great thing. It's just dual red MP trainer, Butch and Sting. If you don't have Sting, Butch and Roxanne, 17k Santa. I use Priest because of the red gem damage, because the Red Royal Rumble, it ends up being better than Sammy with the Red Royal Rumble, right? So this one is like, don't blink, you'll miss it. I often don't like the Red Royal Rumbles. Austin is an exception because it allows me to play super lazy with 2 clicks and do so much damage I don't have to worry about it. It's just boom and boom. That's it. Done. Don't have to worry about any reversals, which I love. And then we're going to hit for 100 mil with Fury 2s. So Red Royal Rumble in the moments let him go really, really, really well. And kind of brought him back up for me. The big reason, truthfully, the huge reason is I don't have to worry about a single reversal. I just throw him against anybody, and I zero worry about a reversal. So when I slot him in my feud lineup, it automatically makes taking somebody on much, much easier, right? So because there's going to be, some people like to run like 5 Hall of Famers for some reason, or something like that. So sometimes you have to really finagle, and if you have a few guys that don't have any reversal issues, it just makes it way, way simpler. So that's why I also don't try to run too many multiply, too many gem buff. I try and keep it mixed up. And Austin really, really helps with that. So that's where he really adds a ton to my roster. It's just the one moveset. There's nothing else for him. So Nikki covers all my lady stuff. Foley is for fun. Austin is my, feud, don't have to worry about jack crap guy, right? So just super, super easy. Also, I don't have his stuff leveled up, but he is solid in boss for blast red, and he can always grow his gem damage a little bit. He starts out at 100 million, it gets harder every turn. So that's the other nice thing about him. He's not like a turn 1 killer unless it's red blast, then he would be. But it's super simple 2-click the whole way, and he grows his gem damage really nice. By the time you get to turn 2, turn 3, he's doing a lot of damage. So that's why I like Austin. Now, completely and totally different Viscera. He's my next, and him and Hogan here, the last 2 kind of flip-flop. Viscera brings a lot to the table. I like running him unblockable. So he's doing 60 million unblockable damage plus some extra. I am considering actually removing the drip plate and doing a little less damage to not have to worry about counters. I'll let you know if I could do that, or if I end up doing that in future ones of these, because I'm sure he'll be on the list. So there's a bunch of stuff I love about Viscera. So where do I start? Well, first off, he's got a hot tag. It's a 2/1, so when tagged into a match, 50 million damage, increase all your red MP by 10. So he tags in, you're basically draining anywhere from half to 3/4 of your opponent's life in Showdown, and they're basically done. And not only that, it fills all his red MP by 10, so you can run triple red if you want. You can run whatever you feel like, right? I to two click him, but anyway. So that Showdown thing, I would two click him, have the unblockable MP trainers on, so he's loaded. You know, Bob's your uncle. So Viscera is great for Showdown. Sadly, him and Austin do have Attitude Era overlap. 100% strap on Viscera. He does not need Fury 3s even in feud. This just gives a little, this doesn't add that much time to get Radical Plate, but I have a bunch of them. Drip Plate, if you don't know what it does, it's kind of rare. It used to be sold, then wasn't sold forever, then they brought it back at Christmas. I think this is something they pull out every once in a while when they want to make a bunch of money. Whenever you activate a black move, make 7 random gems into multiply gems of strength 7. I have one. That is the one I have. Like I said, I might not keep it on him, but how I like running, the other thing too is he has massive healing. He can drain just about every color of MP with his juggernauts. Heals for 40 million a turn with big multiply damage if you want to do that. But I like the unblockable. So body avalanche, 6 MP black, 661k damage, make 1 random gem, 2-turn juggernaut gem, decrease your opponent's blue MP by 10 on every countdown, and destroy all trap gems at the end. Very simple. How he plays is super cool though. Massive elbow drop, 6 MP, deal 1 million damage, make 7 randoms into traps. If broken by your opponent, deal 10 million damage. If broken by you, deal 5 million damage and make 6 random gems into black gems. Then decrease your juggernaut timers, your turns by 2. So this sets the jugs off, and the jugs break the traps, and you deal 5 million unblockable damage per trap. So we want as many traps as possible. 5 million times 12 traps gives us 60 million unblockable. So there's nothing they can do. They're taking 60 million pure damage all the time. Everything else is extra. So for that, we use Jinder. Woods for 4. We do need Santa Hogan to get this loaded. And then Steamboat for 2. That gives us the 12 traps, 60 million unblockable, and we're good to go. I love his versatility. He can do multiplies, he can do unblockable, he has incredibly massive healing, and he has the Showdown hot tag. Literally, I think he's by far the most versatile powerhouse in the game. Hogan can make a case for different reasons, though. That's why they're my top, what I would say my top 2 used. Not necessarily top 2 in the game, but the top 2 I use. Is they bring a lot of cool stuff to the table. We're going to do 60 million damage in unblockable. Steiner is going to go down to like 6 million. And then we're going to do the gem damage on top of it of 32 million gem damage, 89 million total. Now, I am actually, like I said, toying around with taking the drip off. I don't need to do 32 million extra damage, and the multiply reversal people can counter me. So it is something I'm considering. I'm not sure that I will do it, but I might do it. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I love Viscera. I use them all the time. Super fun. But this setup does count as a multiply user when I'm talking about how many multiply users I bring into feud. So I do kind of like to limit that. Also, this is decent. I mean, like, as far as boss goes, you'd use the multiply build for him. And it has big healing, so, you know, he can do some boss. He can really do Showdown with the hot tag. He can really do feud. He's got unblockable, got massive healing. So there's just a lot to like about Viscera. That's why he's in my favorite 5. And finally, we come to Hogan. I am not a Hogan fan. I hate using him because he's Hogan. And yeah, but he is super useful in this game. Immortal Hogan. I have all the stuff for him. We got this moment, 25% gem damage. We got this moment, generate 3 more gems, 100% more gem damage. Okay. And then we got this moment, 100% more gem damage, and then generating 5 more gems. So we're generating 8 extra gems with all that extra gem damage. There's some gem defense in there too. Strap, I have a 130 for him. Fury 3s on him. No plates, and that's by design. I don't want to slow him down with plates. He hits hard enough. So I run the 2 clicks. It's set up this way because I was using him in Showdown. Let me fix it. Showdown defense a while back. There we go. This is better. Scoop Slam and Axe Bomber. And then this is in here just as break in case of emergency. If for some reason my MP gets reduced, then I use that as Destroy. A lot of people want to do the hulking up, which is very slow. You can hit stupid hard. You guys saw, I think, a video that I did a while back with him in boss battle where he hit a bajillion damage on turn 1 using hulking up. Not interested in that feud. It's too slow. So this is basically what... Oh, I also have his gear. Let's talk about that because I do have his gear, which is very useful. It adds 4 MP. So it makes it much, much easier to make him work. He works fine without it. But yeah, the gear does make it much easier. Scoop Slam, 3 MP red, 18k damage. For some reason, Scopely, out of the blue, unbeknownst to anyone a while back, just buffed him. And they're like, oh, we're going to give Immortal Hogan 350% gem damage for 3 turns. What? This is ridiculous. This is the best gem buff in the game because not only does it last 1 turn, not only does it last 2 turns, it lasts 3 turns. There's, I think, there's a few that are higher. Like I think Zombie Punk hits like 450 or something like that. But nobody's got 3 turns with this big. And then we just simply make 8 random gems into wildcards. That's it. And the damage is insane because the way wildcard damage works, linking up with all the gems that connect to it. So you get the damage tallied for all of it. I do use some gem chucking. So Kofi gets everything loaded with the gear. We got, what's his butt here for 4 and 1 yellow MP. That's just me. Don't need it. Don't need the yellow MP, but that's there specifically so I don't have to worry about MP down. Like I said, lazy, don't like checking. So in case somebody thinks they're cute. This one is really good, rainbow gem damage. And I waffle back and forth between Naya for 30% red and 3 extra to create, and Hall of Fame Hogan for rainbow gem damage, right? The rainbow on Austin is super important because you're doing so many different colored gems. So yeah, this is, and the other thing too, what it shows and what he hits are 2 different things. He actually hits way harder than it shows. I've hit people where it says 65 million and they had 80 million health and their health is gone. So it's really hard to get a read on how much actual damage he does, but the gameplay is fast and simple. It's as fast and simple as it comes. That's it. You're done. And then you just watch the destruction. So it said 78 million gem damage. It was probably more like 85 or 90. That's why the reason why I don't put plates on him is what really attracts me to him is the speed. It's how easy and how fast. He's literally I think the fastest powerhouse in the game by a fair chunk, like a good 5 to 6 seconds over anyone else. Something like that. I could be wrong. Maybe not Punk with gear. Zombie Punk with gear can maybe come close. Don't know. Haven't timed that out. And they're, you know, like I said, it's showing 70, but it's more like 85 probably. And I just do that. On top of that, he's ridiculous for breaking shields in boss. When there's any color gems, he's like the best shield breaker because he's doing crazy damage. He gets boosted from any color gem damage because you're catching some of them. So he's like consistently the single best shield breaker in boss battle. Super good for that. Of course, if there's ever a red boss or a black boss, you can just do so much damage with his other stuff. So yeah, Hogan's usable anywhere. I mostly use him in feud when I want speed, but to be honest, and boss, I mostly use him in boss. He's got my exhaust maxed out. He's probably one of my most used boss powerhouse character. That's where he gets most of his use. In feud, I usually go Viscera or Austin. I find there's way more gem reversals in guys than multiply reversals, and people for some reason love bringing Hall of Famers into feud. So Hogan doesn't go as much with me in feud anymore because I don't like worrying about reversals, and there's like I said, a lot of people like bringing a crap ton of Hall of Famers. So that's my top 5. Wow, this went 30 minutes. That's my top 5 powerhouses. My favorite 5, not my top 5. And that's why I like them. That's the reasoning behind it. They all do different things. They bring different stuff to the table. Like I said, Hogan is my big boss guy. Viscera and Austin are my big feud guys. They're both completely opposite. Foley is my guy, and then Abby is just my best lady powerhouse. So she does all the heavy lifting for my ladies, right? So that's why that's my list, and that's why they're there. Like I said, if I had Punk's gear, he for sure would make it. Zombie Punk, he's close even without it. Same thing with Cody, close even without it. I can make a case for Rowan, JD McDonough. Like I said, I could probably pull 10 powerhouses in. Raquel, you know, there's just so many good powerhouses. But that's my favorite 5, and that's why. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, it took me like 2 weeks or 3 weeks since I did the Striker one. Hopefully I'll get the next one in the series done next week. The plan is to do each class my favorite 5, and then I'll probably do each era my favorite 5, and then see where we go from there. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing it, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that really helps me out, and good luck out there. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun.